Okay guys, so welcome back. Today we are going to touch on something we've never delved into before, which is the lower end price point in the shaft market. So the claims are for a shaft at a price point like $100 US. This is some pretty bold claims that it's the most stable shaft on the planet.
So not just the most stable $100 shaft. So we don't have to be worried about what we compare it to.
No.
Because they are claiming that no matter what you put up against it, we should find that stability there.
So what we've decided to do is build the ultimate stability machine. So if this is the most stable shaft, we know the Ping G410 is the most stable head out there. When you look at the shaft specs in this, Matty, the one thing that stands out is the low torque value.
Yes.
And people ask us about what is low torque, what does low torque do? Basically, the torque is the measurement of the twisting of the shaft.
Right, so sort of like if you're staring straight at it, this axis.
The twist value, yeah. So you can see how the shaft droops, you can see how it moves in lead deflection, and also there's a rotational force placed on that shaft.
Gotcha.
Right, so the shaft's ability to allow that to occur or not is basically what we talk about as a torque value.
In old days of shafts, the lowest torque possible was considered good because it would be, I should say, good for a fast player because it should theoretically be keeping the club face in good order.
Correct.
Is that the case anymore though?
It definitely has not been the case for a long time.
Right.
It's one of the factors that come into what is it you're trying to achieve. Are you trying to achieve rotation? Are you trying to reduce rotation? It would be one of the factors that I would look at. So. Yeah, definitely if there was a player who's struggling with a hook miss, am I going to think about torque as a value? Absolutely.
Yeah, you would.
Am I going to think about where that CG location is in the head relative to how it influences the shaft? Absolutely am.
Is it fair to say that torque and stability maybe shouldn't be put in the same category because Acra RPG that I've played and you've played for some time is a higher torque shaft, but Gary Woodland's played it. I know it's not unstable. So how do I separate stability and torque?
There's more to a shaft than just one value.
Right.
There's also multiple, obviously, sections in how we try and influence the stability within those sections because there may be more force placed here by certain swings. There are more force placed down here by certain swings. The head weight is going to influence it. We're using the Ping, which is the heaviest in the market. Yeah. We may be using a Callaway that's much lighter, 10, 12 grams lighter at times. So all those things are going to have different impacts on it. So shafts don't have singular behavior.
Right.
A shaft will never behave a certain way for every type of a golfer.
Right.
They will behave in a unique fashion.
So this test really, as we know and you know, we're not going to be here to see if this is the best shaft made. Yeah. Because that's impossible. That doesn't exist, period. Yeah. We're basically here to see who this is for. Yeah. And given the budget range, is it a good option for more people than most aftermarket shafts? Because it's just way more affordable. Absolutely.
Yeah. Is good value. Yeah. No, that's exactly it. The X-Flex is coming in at 1.2 degrees of torque.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's crazy. Most people will be familiar with anything sub 3 degrees is low.
Yes.
Anything that was in the 2.5 range. I remember there was an old Harrison Pro 2.5 titanium that I used to use. I mean, it was one of the lowest torque shafts out there. The Fujikura Speeder 757, same thing, down in that 2.5 degrees of torque range. Very, very low torque.
So it almost will feel like an X100 in torque. Is that what X100 is like 2 something?
It's 1.8, I believe.
So this technically is way lower in torque than an X100, which people will associate with a shaft that it doesn't move around. Yeah.
Let's hit a couple with your gamer, your new TSI, which you really are starting to get very comfortable with. So I'm interested to see how this performs. And just a quick side note, we would have probably chosen to do apples for apples and test that versus or the shaft in the same head.
Yes.
It came with a Ping sleeve. We don't have that option.
Just going to make the best of it. Yeah, absolutely. I think the driver head is not what's at issue here. I'm just going to give you feedback on the feel of the shaft.
Definitely. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So good.
It's becoming very friendly with this.
Straightest I've ever seen you drive it with this thing. I've never seen you hit such straight.
Agree. Yeah, lack of curvature,
non-curving
right?
flights.
Yeah.
First thing, when we measured it on the swing weight scale, Matty, off the charts.
Yeah.
Really low balance point.
So because this is D8 and change.
Nearly 9, yeah.
If someone who swung at 90 miles an hour swung this, it would feel like E5 to them or
You'd
something.
probably look back over the desk at me like
nah,
what
okay.
are you doing?
Yeah,
Why are you asking me to do this?
And that's kind of how it feels when I'm swinging it. It's already just by the waggle test.
Yeah.
The swing weight's too heavy.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But we know what that does, and I'm very curious to see how that influences it.
And also, what we should do is take the weight out the back. Bring the swing weight down to something closer to D0, D1. Swing a few. We know that the mass isn't going to be there to produce the ball speed, but I will be interested to hear your thoughts on how it feels to swing it.
So why don't we do both?
Let's do it.
I'll hit a couple like this, and then we'll remove it. Oh, it's heavy.
Yeah, take a little bit to move it.
Just feels very late in coming through. Result, fine. Definitely slowed me down a bit.
Did it ever?
It feels hard to swing by comparison. And by hard to swing, I mean just more effort required to get the club moving.
So we just talked about the mass, and obviously the increase in mass is going to lead to higher ball speeds. If we look at the efficiency ratio, exactly right, it's
and
higher.
But crap strike too?
Definitely.
Very interesting.
So what we would see is the efficiency being higher enough to offset the speed reduction, right? And that's in a fit.
That is it, yeah. In
a fit, that's always a really interesting point for a fitter. If you take the weight out of a head, yep, absolutely, most likely someone's club head speed will increase. But the mass will decrease to the point where it doesn't apply as forceful a blow into the golf ball.
Good point.
Therefore, you don't create as much.
The output is all that matters anyway.
Definitely.
It's getting a little behind me. Not surprised whatsoever. That's what we would expect. I'm definitely going to have to adjust and get, the path is getting more up and inside. I'm just going to have to force the ball to start a bit more right for me. So that's me physically trying to not push it.
Okay.
I can't get the club head speed up. I'm trying.
I mean,
can't do it.
If you think of the player, Matty, that gets the club a little stuck behind them.
Yes.
This would lead to some issues, wouldn't it?
You would be giving that player a solution that makes their problem worse, wouldn't you? So the efficiency may even start to kind of come off in terms of, on an average number of several strikes, maybe that pattern isn't all that reliable, because those 3 swings took more out of me than the first 10 did.
It's fascinating to see that, isn't it? Just to watch that sort of occur. I mean, it looks, you're noticeably slower.
Yes.
You're labouring a little bit on your downswing with it.
Totally. Totally. It's a very different feel. Let me hit one more, then why don't you pop the weight out?
Okay. That's a nice hit.
Yeah, that one was...
Pop that one.
So 1 mile an hour faster on club speed, which is good. 118. I still can't get over 170 ball speed.
Really?
That's very interesting. Interesting. 119 that time. Yeah, it's hard to get the middle of the face. That's what I'm feeling. It's the same strike. Very interesting.
So yeah, you've completely lost your strike. Your speed has increased 2 miles an hour, but the ball speed is actually your slowest ball speed.
Very interesting.
Out of all of them.
So in order to make this swing weight reasonably, which you've done, we had to take so much weight out of the head that we've kind of lost the pop from the mass.
Lost the pop, yep.
And the club head speed is back, but the timing is not great, and the strike location is not where you want it to be at all. And I've completely lost the feel of where the head is now that the weight is out of there.
Yeah.
And I think the shaft being so low in torque, it's tough for me to feel just the timing of it. You feel the shaft load and you swing down at a certain point. That just occurs. That in combination with the fact that you're right, I'm fighting the hook right now.
Yeah.
I think that's why I'm slowly hitting more up, more out, and striking the toe just to push the ball left as far as I can.
It's not easy with a sample size of one player to try and figure out here who this is really going to benefit. Because as I said, shafts doesn't have consistent unique behavior, or doesn't have consistent behavior. It will do different things for different people.
So for the high-speed player, I'm having a little trouble understanding the benefit of it there. Why don't we try one thing just quickly to finish? We have a regular flex. Why don't you give me your theory of who this would benefit? Let's try to recreate that in terms of delivery.
The regular's got a Cobra on it as well.
It's okay.
Do you want to pop on a little Cobra?
So we'll pop it on. We have to use the Cobra on the regular. That's okay. But let's try. Let's see what. I just don't think for me personally it benefits me.
That's nice.
There we go.
Go 240. Are close.
My first impression of it is there's a lot of flexibility in the shaft, no doubt. However, on that swing, it seemed to match the timing of that speed quite well. So I could kind of felt the face return to center a little bit better than I would have expected.
Nice, Matty boy.
Yeah, similar.
A little view of your 75-year-old self. That'd be great to hit that
I'd be
when you're
ecstatic.
75. So changes, the feel changes a little bit more like you would expect it to feel.
Absolutely, yeah. The torque part is quite interesting. I'm not sure what the shaft would feel like with four degrees of torque on it.
It's funny that you kind of now, based on your impression from the shaft and how it deflects, now it's almost like, okay, this is a product I can play. Now I can understand what does the torque do.
It does.
It was almost like the X-Flex you're like, no, I can't play a driver at D9.
No.
And when I take the weight out, I don't have enough head mass to load the shaft, so that still doesn't feel any good.
Right.
This just isn't going to work. Whereas this, at the swing speed you've got, you can feel the shaft load. What I always say, shafts that are a little on the softer side and are a little on the heavier side if you're struggling with timing will help you get timing. That's
a great point.
Light and stiff is useless if you're trying to generate better timing.
That is so true. And the amount of what I deem to be for a regular flex shaft, I think it does have extra flexibility, maybe whether that's the low CPMs or something. I think it's actually quite nice at this speed because as we said in the Fujikura practice shaft video, if you don't know what it feels like to feel that, you are losing out on a nice timing feature.
Definitely.
At that speed, when I feel the shaft start to bend a bit at the top of my swing, I can then feel that that's when it's time to swing down, and I think it just helps your timing overall.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. Having no trouble hitting a good part of the face. Yeah, there's something interesting to it. It may actually be causing me to have better tempo. Yeah. In a way.
And again, the influence of twisting and relative to the center of gravity and what that's trying to do to the head in terms of how it bends and twists and rotates. I mean, I just think it is a factor that is not dominant enough to cause unique behavior or consistent unique behavior. It's just something you have to add in amongst all the other pieces.
I agree. I think if I were to guess, they've made this regular flex shaft, and I have to ignore the X1 for now because to me it's a completely different thing.
Yeah.
This one, I think the low torque may serve a purpose in letting it be consistent enough, given how crazy flexible this is.
Yeah.
So as flexible as it is, and as easy as it is for me to kind of chip them out there at a decent speed, the torque rating maybe is just thrown in there to make you feel a little bit more consistency. I don't know if there's really any reason to pick at it more than that.
I think if I'm a consumer, Matty boy, I'm looking at this going, okay, interesting. Like Matt seemed to really like the regular one, didn't love the X-Flex one. Okay, that's interesting. But if I'm going to the store to buy a driver, and all the high quality products that are offered free of charge nowadays.
We're very early on reviewing it. I'm glad we did it just for curiosity.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would run out and make too many conclusions yet. Try it out if they have a program to try them out. But as you said, you can get non-upcharge shafts that may also fit you. It's another option in fitting. I wouldn't use it as the be-all and end-all, that's for sure. Yeah.
And where torque is obviously attributed to resistance to twisting, resistance to movement, it doesn't have to mean stiff.
It doesn't.
It didn't, like you said, didn't feel stiff.
No.
You could feel the load.
Tons.
You felt like you had a little bit better sense of the timing of it.
Definitely. You kind of feel like you can load and let one go.
Let it go a little bit.
It gives you, I think for what I'm experiencing is for a slower swing speed player, it gave me the feeling that I get swinging a normal shaft at my speed, where I can feel stuff working for me and moving and timing. I can feel that with this. And if that's the benefit of it for $100, then to be honest with you, maybe that's quite worthwhile.
Yeah.
Could be very worthwhile.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be. Okay, more to come. Looking forward to learning more about Steadfast and what they offer. They're still early days in terms of even telling us what manufacturing tolerances and weights and all those sorts of things, bend profile, EI profile, all those sorts of things. We don't really know those parts about it yet. It seems like it's all very, very early days.
It does, yeah.
But I'm kind of happy to see another shaft company in the game offering a price point product.
Definitely. More competition is just going to be better for everybody. It should make everything better and more affordable, so good for them. Okay, guys, let us know if you've tried it. I'd love to know if there's somebody out there who's had a great experience with it, maybe tried and it's really helped their game. This balance point issue is really fascinating. The X-Flex took Matt's driver to D9. The regular Flex had you at D3.6. Yeah.
Very interesting. Those of you who are trying to move swing weight around a little bit, who want to tinker with a shorter driver, that X-Flex one is something you want to look at. Very low balance point, allows you to play a little bit less head weight or plays a shorter total length. So all good things to think about for the hobbyists, for the club makers, for the club builders out there who just love options.
That's exactly who should look at this. Great point. Yeah.
Okay, guys, stay tuned for more. We'll see you again soon.